Ding dong, ding, them bells are playing loud and clear. Dong, ding dong, they're saying it's that time of year for dreams of snow and stolen kisses.
Hey guys, it's Elena. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how I made my very own custom Christmas stockings. These are especially special because they match the Christmas tree skirt that I made last year. So I love them, obsessed with them, and I'm going to walk you through all the steps so that you can make your very own. So this is everything that you'll need to make about 4 to 5 stockings. About 1 yard of lining fabric, 1 yard of outer fabric, and then half a yard of cuff fabric, plus some cute ribbon so that you can hang your stockings. So I do have a free stocking pattern that you can print off. There is a link down below for you to access that. It will print on 2 different pieces of paper. You'll cut the pieces out and then you can tape it together where I have the dotted lines so that it's one nice big stocking pattern. So this pattern I am just cutting out. This is my yard of fabric. I have it on a fold and I am cutting out my outer shell fabric first. So this stocking size will get you about a medium-sized stocking. If you want it to be a little bit bigger, you can totally just add anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch all the way around, and that will just make you a little bit of a bigger stocking. I will show you a size comparison so you can see, but this is my stocking that I did. I really do like the size, and I was able to make 5 stockings out of this fabric, which I feel like is amazing. I really didn't spend that much on fabric since I was able to find some of this in the clearance section, which is great. Plus, this lining fabric actually is really nice and soft. I didn't get necessarily just a cotton, which you can totally do, but I thought this would be just nice to put your hands in when you're reaching in for some candy or some other goodies. Once you have cut those out, you're going to have a lining, an outer fabric, and then also you're going to cut out your cuff fabric as well. Once you've done all of that, you also want to cut out your ribbon pieces. So I cut my ribbon pieces to be about 8 inches long, and that got me a nice size. Leave me some wiggle room for hanging as well as to attach it. So here is that cuff piece folded in half lengthwise, and now we're going to fold it in half the other way. So the reason we're going to do this is so that when we fold it to our finished cuff, it can just slide on there perfectly and you're not going to have any yucky seams or unnecessary seams. So fold it the other way, do a zigzag stitch so that when you start to put it right sides out, you're only going to do that halfway, and now this is the perfect size that you need for the stocking template that I have provided. Once you have your cuff ready to go, you can start on assembling and putting all the pieces together for your actual stocking leg foot part. So I have my outer fabric that I'm just starting to put right sides together and pinning so that I can sew all the way down all of the edges and sides of this stocking. This is my outer fabric, so I am just going all the way down, leaving that top opening open. And this fabric was a little bit tricky. It was stretchy and pretty clingy, so it took me a little bit of time. You can see I'm just kind of like doing a lot of pivoting around the curved parts, but you can get through it. And then you're going to do the exact same thing for your lining fabric. The only difference here is you are going to leave a little 1 to 2 inch opening either on the leg or at the bottom of the foot. And you'll see why we do that later on in this video. So here I am just going down through my stocking. Again, I am using a zigzag stitch to go around these fabrics because these are stretchy fabrics and I don't want anything ripping or tearing in the future. If you're using something that's not really stretchy like a cotton, then you can just use a normal straight stitch. You can see that I did leave about a 2-inch gap at the bottom of that foot so that we can turn it all right sides out later on. Once I've sewn all the way around both the lining and outer portion of my stocking, I'm just gonna go and trim some of that bulkiness out and also clip around the curves so that when I put my stocking right side out, it is laying nice and flat and smooth and just fitting all nicely together. Now I am putting the outer fabric right sides out. You're gonna leave the lining fabric exactly how it is, but you want that outer fabric to be right sides out with your finished stocking sitting on the outside. So now we're gonna start assembling things together. So you're gonna put that cuff over your finished outer stocking piece, lining up that side back edge and making those raw edges at the top, that fold at the bottom, and then you're going to pin that ribbon onto that back, just going down on the outside of that cuff. And now you're going to take that entire stocking and stuff it inside your lining. So see, the lining is still the wrong sides out, and you're just gonna put everything in there, making sure that you're putting it going in the right direction and trying to line up those side seams as good as you can, and just start pinning all the way around. And you want all of those layers to line up at the top as good as you can get it. This part is a little bit tricky, especially if you are using something that is stretchy or any other kind of specialty fabrics, but it takes some time, but you can definitely get it. And then it is time to attach all of those layers together at that top seam. So I'm just using about a 1/2 inch seam allowance for this entire project and doing my best to just sew all of those layers, those 3 layers. So you have your outer fabric, the lining, and the cuff, plus that little ribbon in there as well. So we've attached and sewn the entire top of our stocking. So now we're going to put the whole thing right sides out by finding that little opening that we left ourselves previously. So for this stocking, I left that opening at the bottom of the stocking foot on the lining. So I'm just kind of putting my fingers in and just yanking and pulling gently, trying to get the entire stocking to go right sides out. This took a little bit of time, but you'll get it eventually. And if you have to make that hole that you made yourself a little bit bigger, then that's totally okay. But this is what you're going to be left with: your lining attached to the outer fabric by that cuff. So we have that little opening hole that we used to put everything right sides out that we need to close up as our last step. So I'm just doing a quick top stitch to close that. You can totally do a hand whip stitch, but if you have seen my other videos, I just prefer to machine stitch. So now I am just stuffing that lining fabric inside of the outer fabric, and now everything is laying flat and nice, and it looks extremely professional. That is why I chose to do this as the way for my stockings. There are no visible raw edges. The whole thing looks incredibly professional, just like something you would see at the store. And overall, I just love it. It totally matches the theme of our Christmas tree and the Christmas tree skirt that I did make last year. also have a video for that, so go check it out if you're curious. But I'm so glad that I was able to share with you this tutorial, and I hope you guys loved it.